Look at almost any major city in the world today, and you're gonna see its footprint. Sold-out stadiums vibrating with the screams of tens of thousands of fans. Perfectly synchronized, literally gravity-defying choreography. Multi-billion-dollar revenue streams that have completely turned the global music market on its head. This is K-pop. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we aren't just looking at the glossy surface or the viral TikTok dances. We're going to investigate the exact mathematical mechanics of a global phenomenon.
But to really grasp the sheer scale of this cultural machine, we have to ask a pretty basic but fundamental question. What does it actually take to create a K-pop idol? Because, unlike the West, where an artist might get discovered playing in a dive bar or randomly going viral from their bedroom, K-pop is strictly engineered. It's a highly structured, fiercely competitive pipeline. And as we'll see, the journey from a young hopeful to a global superstar is paved with intense pressure, massive financial stakes, and a human cost that the industry is only just beginning to reckon with.
So let's start with Section 1, K-pop's global takeover.
Just to wrap our heads around the reality of this, check out these monthly Spotify listeners from mid-2026. The numbers are absolutely staggering. BTS is sitting way up top with nearly 37 million listeners every single month, followed by Blackpink with almost 22 million. Right behind them, you've got newer groups like El Seraphim and established acts like Twice, pulling in 15 to 16 million. I mean, these aren't just regional hits anymore. These are global superstars, commanding the attention of the entire planet, driving international charts, and bringing in just immense revenue for their labels. But of course, this level of dominance didn't just happen overnight. It really kicked off back in 1992 when a group called Seo Taiji and Boys completely revolutionized the South Korean music scene. They fused Western hip-hop and rap with Korean lyrics, and it spread like wildfire. By 1995, SM Entertainment was founded, which launched the first generation of manufactured idol groups. From there, it's basically a story of constant, relentless iteration. The third generation, starting around 2012, brought the global breakthrough with groups leveraging YouTube and Twitter. By 2018, the fourth generation doubled down on complex choreography and global marketing. And now, in 2026, we're firmly in the fifth generation, an era totally defined by hyper-fast viral content. It's a constant, highly calculated evolution.
Which brings us to Section 2, Anatomy of the Idol Machine. The absolute game changer here is a concept called cultural technology. This term was coined by Lee Soo-man, the guy who founded SM Entertainment. He didn't just want to manage artists, he wanted to create an exact, repeatable formula for producing pop culture. He literally manualized the entire process. This right here is the biggest difference between K-pop and Western music. K-pop is not some organic, grassroots music scene. It is a heavily engineered, vertically integrated industrial process designed to build the perfect entertainers.
The pipeline itself is, quite frankly, brutal and factory-like. Step 1 is recruitment. These agencies are scouting kids as young as 10 to 16 years old through massive global auditions. Step 2 is rigorous training. These young trainees enter a highly regulated environment where they spend years, sometimes up to 6 or 7 years, enduring grueling daily schedules. They're training in singing, multiple styles of dance, and importantly, foreign languages like English, Japanese, and Mandarin just to ensure they are globally marketable. They even get media and etiquette training. Step 3 brings the dreaded monthly evaluations. It's a fiercely competitive elimination system where trainees who don't meet the standard are just cut, out. Finally, Step 4, the debut decision. Out of thousands of kids, only a tiny fraction are ever actually selected to be packaged into a group and debut to the public.
And this system has had a profound societal impact on South Korea. Just look at the shifting occupational goals of Korean children over 3 decades. Back in 1981, kids wanted to be scientists, doctors, or public officials. Standard stuff, right? By 1999, entertainer started creeping up the list. But by 2012, becoming an entertainer absolutely dominates as the #1 dream job for Korean youth. The K-pop machine didn't just change music, it fundamentally rewired the aspirations of an entire generation, becoming a massive pillar of South Korea's soft power.
Moving on to Section 3, the Big Four agencies.
So, the whole industry is basically ruled by the Big Four: HYBE, SM, JYP, and YG Entertainment. Their absolute superpower is vertical integration. Basically, they control absolutely everything. They don't just sign an artist, they discover the talent. They train them from childhood. They write and produce the music completely in-house. They manage the artist's daily life, run the global marketing campaigns, and directly control distribution and the highly lucrative merchandise. What this means is that a single company shapes every single aspect of an artist's career and public image. The artist is, essentially, the complete packaged product of the agency.
Now, you might be wondering, why do they need this level of absolute control? Well, it comes down to immense financial risk. Back in 2012, the Wall Street Journal reported that the average cost to train just a single Korean idol was $3 million. That is a staggering upfront investment for an unproven teenager. And here's the kicker. The trainees accrue this cost as debt, which they have to pay back from their earnings if, and that's a big if, they are lucky enough to debut and become successful. This massive financial stake is the primary reason these agencies exert such tight, and sometimes ruthless, control over their artists.
All right, Section 4, the power of fandom.
The power of the K-pop fandom is entirely unique in the entertainment world. If we compare K-pop fans to traditional Western fans, the difference is night and day. Western fans generally show individualistic support, right? They listen to the music, maybe go to a concert. But K-pop fandoms like BTS's ARMY or Blackpink's Blinks are highly structured, organized units. They act as mobilized, completely unpaid digital labor for the agencies. They'll organize highly coordinated streaming parties to deliberately manipulate global charts. They bulk buy multiple versions of physical albums just to boost sales figures. They translate content for international audiences and execute viral marketing campaigns on social media. This intense, effective devotion is the actual engine driving K-pop's financial supremacy.
And this organized fandom is exactly what allowed K-pop to explode on a global scale. For major groups like BTS, Blackpink, and NCT 127, their international performances now vastly outnumber their domestic ones. In fact, over 35% of all K-pop band performances happen globally. This isn't an accident, it's a deliberate strategy. The fans have turned K-pop into a premier diplomatic asset for South Korea, spreading the Korean wave, or Hallyu, and boosting tourism, cosmetics, and the national brand worldwide.
But all of this brings us to Section 5, the price of perfection. For years, the industry has faced intense and very valid scrutiny over its labor practices, most notably the use of what are often called slave contracts. Historically, these were incredibly restrictive, exclusive agreements that could lock an artist in for up to 13 years. Under these contracts, the power imbalance is just crushing. Agencies dictated overwhelming control over the artist's revenue, sometimes taking up to 90% of the profits early on, while the artists scrambled to pay off their massive training debt. Furthermore, these contracts often placed extreme behavioral controls on the idols. They dictated their diets, their public appearances, and even forbade them from dating, all to maintain this perfect, available fantasy for the fans.
We really have to remember that the people inside this machine are often just teenagers. Listen to this quote from Sofia La Forteza, a contestant who debuted through one of these intense agency survival shows. She said, "The whole experience was just so much tension, so much uncertainty, and so much competition and pressure. The psychological toll of the trainee system is immense. Young kids drop out of high school, take on a massive debt burden, and undergo endless brutal evaluations with absolutely zero guarantee that they will ever actually get to debut."
Now, to be fair, the industry does have a defense for the system, and it's one that is deeply rooted in South Korean culture. Kim Young-min, the CEO of SM Entertainment, once argued that the idol training system is no different than typical middle or high school kids who go to after-school programs to cram for college entrance exams. From the agency's perspective, this level of intense, highly competitive preparation is simply a reflection of South Korea's broader societal expectations. Furthermore, they argue that the massive financial risks they take, providing housing, food, and world-class training, necessitates these strict management controls. But pushback from the public and the artists themselves has actually started to change things. Under the Popular Culture and Arts Industry Development Act, some sweeping legal changes took effect on January 1, 2026. Those infamous 13-year contracts, they've been capped at a standard 7 years. Regulators have mandated improved compensation transparency, expanded mental health protections, and strictly strengthened safeguards regarding the working hours and conditions for young performers. The industry is effectively being forced to evolve, having to balance its ruthless efficiency with basic human rights.
So what are we left with? K-pop is undoubtedly an artistic triumph. It is a masterclass in global marketing and a massive, undeniable source of national pride. It's a cultural machine that generates billions and inspires millions of people around the world. But as the curtain falls on those perfectly synchronized, glossy performances, it leaves us with a really difficult question to ponder. When human lives are engineered from childhood for our entertainment, what is the true price of perfection?